UTAG constitution, mainly once a strike action is suspended, we have to go back to the classroom and then go back to teaching. So whether a campus has voted against the suspension or for the suspension, all of us will go back to the classroom and go back to lecture. At the end of the referendum, we'll collect the results. After the collation, the next step is that if majority of the members do say that we need to continue with the strike action, then an extraordinary meeting of the National Executive Committee will have to be constituted to determine the date for the next strike action. So that is the case. And sometimes I must state that the suspension became necessary for us to do that so that we can go back to the table and negotiate. So if you'll notice, we gave ourselves up to next week, Friday, which is still going to be within the period of 10 working days. We have to get this whole processes done. So the whole idea for us was to make sure we get the chance to go and negotiate. So if the negotiations go as planned, then there wouldn't be the need. But otherwise, then in that case, members would have already armed the National Executive Committee to continue with the strike action.
Yeah, so in this referendum that is going on in your branches, how many, 15 branches across the country? Or?
That's accurate, 15 branches.
Yes, and from the results we had by the evening of yesterday, University of Education, Winneba, voted to reject. University of Ghana voted to reject. Huge numbers voted to reject. University of Health and Allied Sciences, they are the only university I see from the list I have that voted to say you should stay. KNUST and the rest of them. Where do you stand this morning? How many have voted to confirm the suspension and how many reject the suspension of the strike?
So as at yesterday, we had 5 campuses voting to confirm, to reject the suspension, whereas 2 campuses had, 5 campuses have rejected the suspension, whereas 2 campuses have confirmed the suspension as at yesterday.
Okay.
This weekend, today and tomorrow, there wouldn't be any votes, but the rest of the campuses, I think about 8 of them will have their voting done on Monday.
And what will be majority?
The majority, it's a simple majority. So we are looking at 8 campuses, and then we'll have to then decide on the dates for the next strike action.
Once you have 3 more campuses voting, rejecting the suspension, the strike continues.
That is accurate. But in that case, the National Executive Committee needs to have an extraordinary meeting to decide on the next date for the strike action to be continued.
And as it looks now, it definitely doesn't look good that the majority, of course, so far the majority, 7, 5 say we don't agree that we should go back to the classroom. Are you getting any overtures? Are you getting any, calls to get to avoid extending this strike because the impact is bad?
Yes, it's exactly so. But for us, the most important thing in all of this is that if the conditions of service of the university teacher is improved upon, then there wouldn't be any need for us to be on strike. So definitely, once everything is done and then we get to the table, we had our first engagement on Thursday. So after the engagement, we are going to meet again next week, Wednesday. So next week, Wednesday, that is planned to be an in-house campaign so that Wednesday, Thursday, and possibly Friday, we have a continuous engagement in order to iron out whatever differences there are and to finalize things. If definitely whatever is offered to the university teacher is exactly what we are looking for, or is within the limits of what we are looking for, then there wouldn't be the need for us to be on strike. So it's also because
but I thought the court had ruled that you have been injuncted from continuing the strike.
That is accurate, but that doesn't stop us from starting a new strike if there's a need to.
Oh.